The thing about being deceived by someone you love is that you never get a single moment where everything breaks. You get 1,000 tiny moments, and you keep explaining them away because you trust this person, because you know them, or you thought you did. Rachel was 33 years old, and she was good at her life. That's the only way to describe it. Not happy, though she was happy. Not successful, though she was that too. Just good at it. She managed a marketing team of 9 people. She ran their editorial calendar the way other people run their nervous systems, with precision, with rhythm, with quiet control. She woke up at 6:14 every morning. Not 6:15, not with an alarm, just 6:14, because her body had learned the schedule and her body didn't deviate. She made coffee before Daniel was awake. She left his mug on the counter with the handle turned left, the way he liked it, not because he'd asked her to, but because she'd noticed 3 years in and filed it away and never stopped. That's the kind of person Rachel was. She noticed things. Daniel was 6 years into her life, and she still liked him. That sounds like a small thing. It isn't. 6 years is long enough to stop performing for each other. Long enough for the version of yourself you showed at the beginning to loosen, to settle into something less curated. 6 years means he'd seen her sick and furious and boring and afraid. And he was still there. He was a product manager at a software company, responsible, a little dry in social situations, funnier at home than anywhere else. He had a habit of narrating television shows he'd already seen, quietly, just one beat ahead of the plot, like he couldn't help it. She found it annoying. She also found it deeply, specifically him. They weren't the couple that held hands in restaurants. They weren't the couple with the matching Instagram aesthetic. They were the couple that passed each other in the kitchen without stopping and somehow communicated an entire sentence in the movement. She thought that was intimacy. She thought that was what real love looked like when it grew up. It started in October. He mentioned it almost in passing, a project at work. A big one, cross-functional, multiple stakeholders, the kind that generated momentum in politics and very long evenings. "I'm going to be late a few nights," he told her. Not apologizing, just informing. The way 2 adults in a long relationship communicate schedule changes. She said, "Okay," and meant it. She wasn't suspicious. She wasn't even paying close attention. That's the detail she would return to later. He came home those evenings looking tired in a familiar way. The same way he looked tired after any difficult meeting. Not guilty, not avoidant, just spent. She gave him space. She heated up whatever she'd cooked earlier. She didn't ask too many questions because she knew he'd talk about it when the project was done, and he had the distance to be coherent about it. That's what they did. That's how they worked. She wasn't suspicious. She was trusting. She needs you to understand the difference. It was a Tuesday, the kind of Tuesday that has no particular significance. She was doing laundry, which is to say, she was doing the ordinary work of maintaining a shared life. His jacket from Monday was in the pile. She turned out the pockets before she put it in the machine. She always did. He had a habit of leaving receipts, gum wrappers, the occasional charging cable in places charging cables had no business being. This time, she found a folded piece of paper. She unfolded it without thinking. It was a grocery list. Not complicated. Milk, bread, olive oil, Parmesan, the good kind of coffee, the specific Italian brand she'd never buy because it cost nearly twice as much. But it wasn't his handwriting. She knew his handwriting. 6 years of birthday cards and sticky notes and grocery lists of their own. She knew the way he formed his letters. She knew the particular stubby G and the way his T didn't quite cross itself. This handwriting was rounded, deliberate, slightly right-slanted, entirely unfamiliar. She stood in the laundry room for a moment. Then she folded the note back up, put it in the pocket, carried the jacket to the machine. It could be anything, she thought. Someone at work, a colleague, a friend. She wasn't suspicious, and she was already suspicious. She didn't ask him about it. She's not sure, even now, why. Maybe because she already knew she'd believe whatever he said. Maybe because she didn't have a question she could actually articulate. "I found a note in your pocket that wasn't yours, and then what?" He'd explain it. He'd explain it easily, and she'd feel foolish for asking, and the note would dissolve into the category of things that don't matter. So she didn't ask. But she began to notice. Not actively looking. That's not quite right. More like, her attention started falling differently. The way you don't notice the hum of a refrigerator until it stops. She noticed that he checked his phone differently. Before, And she's only understanding this now. In hindsight, he had used his phone the way most people use their phones. Casually, leaving it face up on the table. Sometimes handing it to her to show her a video or a news story. Now, the phone was with him. Still casual, not clutched, not hidden, but present in a way that was slightly different from before. Tilted 5 degrees away when she walked by, picked up with just a fraction more intention. Nothing you could point to, nothing you could name. Just a change in the physics of a small object. He had to tell. She found it on a Thursday evening, by accident. They were talking. She can't even remember what about. Something about a friend's engagement, whether they should go to the party, something entirely unimportant. And she mentioned a name. Not her name, just the name of someone they both knew peripherally. Someone who'd been at the same dinner party last spring. The name happened to be Emma. He paused. It was barely a pause. A quarter of a second. The kind of pause that occurs when someone's brain briefly catches on something before recovering. She'd spent years interviewing candidates for her marketing team. She knew that pause. It was the pause of a word that landed differently than expected, a word that touched something. He recovered immediately, said something easy and deflecting. But she had seen it, and she couldn't unsee it. She didn't know anyone named Emma in his life. She Googled the name. She hates that she did. She hates that she tells you this. Not because it was wrong, it wasn't wrong, but because it was the moment she admitted to herself that something was happening. Emma was a common name. She found 17 Emmas connected in some way to Daniel's professional network, 3 of whom worked at companies adjacent to his. One who had attended the same conference in September that he had. She looked at the conference one's LinkedIn for 6 minutes. Then she closed the tab. Then she opened it again. Then she closed her laptop. She felt, in that moment, something she couldn't quite name. Not quite fear. Not quite certainty. Something closer to the dread of a door that's slightly open. You don't have to open it all the way to know there's something behind it. She didn't open the laptop again that night. But she couldn't sleep. 2 weeks after the note, she noticed something she almost couldn't articulate. He was happy. Not the baseline happy she was used to, the comfortable, mildly contented happiness of a man in a stable life. This was different. Lighter. There were moments, in the evenings, when he seemed almost buoyant in a way that didn't match the circumstances. The project at work was, by his own description, stressful. But some evenings he came home, and he was better than the day should have allowed for. She knew this happiness. She'd seen it in the early years of their relationship. The particular quality of someone who's been thoroughly understood by another person that day. The glow of being known. She had stopped being the person who gave him that. Not because she loved him less, but because they had settled into the comfort of 6 years, which doesn't look like that glow. It looks like 2 mugs, handle facing left, passed in silence with complete understanding. She had thought that was the better thing. Now she wasn't sure. She asked him once. Not directly. She couldn't bring herself to do it directly. She said, over dinner one evening, "You've seemed different lately." He looked up. Different how? She considered the options available to her. She could say, lighter. She could say, like someone who's been somewhere good. She could say, like you're not fully in this room, but you're happy about where you are instead. She said, I don't know, just different. He held her gaze for a moment, and she watched, with the precision of someone who had spent 2 weeks watching, whether anything crossed his face. Something did. Not guilt. Not exactly. Something more like the very brief surfacing of a private thought before it was submerged again. Then he said, "Work's been intense. I think I'm just processing it." She nodded. She said, "Yeah, okay." And they finished dinner. She never went through his phone. She wants to be clear about this. Not because it was some moral decision she'd carefully reasoned through. Simply because she didn't think she had the right to, and she didn't think she was capable of what would come after. But the phone went to another room one night. He'd left it on the coffee table while he went to shower. It had been face down. She hadn't touched it. But when he walked back in and picked it up, she noticed, in the brief moment before the screen went dark, that there were 6 notifications from a number with no name attached. Just a number, not a contact. She sat with that information in a completely still way. In her phone, everyone she'd spoken to more than twice had a name. That's how phones worked. That's how relationships worked. You stored the number. You gave it a name. A recurring number without a name was a number that someone hadn't wanted findable. She knew this. She knew what she knew. There's a thing that happens when you suspect someone you love. You become the prosecutor and the defense attorney simultaneously. The prosecutor. He has a number saved without a name. He paused at a name. He carries new happiness that doesn't originate with you. The handwriting on the note was a woman's handwriting, rounded, right slanted. And you know this because you're the kind of person who notices things. The defense attorney. You have no proof. You could be constructing a narrative from coincidences. You have been tired and stressed, and your brain finds patterns. He has been nothing but present at home, affectionate, unchanged, kind. A number without a name proves nothing. People have numbers without names. You are not a detective. You are not a court. The prosecutor. You've been a forensic observer of this man for 6 years. You know what his face does when he lies. You know what his body does when something is wrong. Something is wrong. The defense attorney. Don't do this unless you're certain. Because once you say the words out loud, you can't put them back. She thought about the handwriting on the note for days. She thought about how it had looked like someone who was comfortable making grocery lists for him. She found her eventually, not through his phone, not through his email, through something much smaller. He mentioned the name again, not Emma, a different name, Sophie. Said it in the context of a work story, casually, the way you mention a colleague. But she hadn't heard Sophie before, and there was something in the specific way he placed the name in the sentence. Not prominent, not careless, placed exactly where it would draw the least attention. That told her this was a name he'd been careful about. She searched LinkedIn for Sophie at his company. She found her in 4 minutes. She spent a long time looking at the profile. She didn't know what she expected to feel. She felt, mostly, tired. Not because Sophie was beautiful or impressive or threatening, though she was all of those things, and it didn't help. But because the act of finding her made it real in a way that the suspicion hadn't fully managed to. There was a human being at the end of this. A specific, real person. And Daniel had been, in whatever way, known by her. That was the word that kept returning. Known. She didn't say anything. For a week. She went to work. She came home. She made dinner, or he made dinner, or they ordered something. She slept next to him. She watched him the way you watch a film you've already seen, looking for the moments you missed the first time. And she found them everywhere. The glance at his phone before he answered a question. The fractionally longer shower on Wednesday evenings. The text he sent in the kitchen while she was in the next room that was not, she now understood, a text to a colleague. She noticed all of it. She cataloged it with the precision of a woman who was good at her life. And she said nothing. Some people will judge her for that. She's decided she doesn't care. Because the truth is, she was trying to understand what she wanted to do with the information. She wasn't staying quiet out of denial. She wasn't performing the marriage because she didn't know. She was sitting in the most difficult question available to a person in her position. Do I want the life that comes after I say this out loud? The clearest moment came on a Saturday. They were watching a film together, something neither of them had chosen particularly, something that had just appeared on a screen and been allowed to play. It wasn't a special evening. Takeout containers on the coffee table, his feet near hers on the couch. Normal. And he laughed at something. A genuine laugh. Unguarded. The kind he had when he wasn't performing ease, but actually feeling it. And she watched the laugh. And she thought, I know this person. I know this laugh. I know the crinkle at his left eye specifically, and the way he holds his breath right before something hits him is funny. I know how he takes his coffee and how he sleeps, and what his face looks like when he's struggling with something he hasn't told me. I have known this person for 6 years. And there is a part of him that I have never been given access to. A room I was never invited into. And he has let someone else into that room. And he still does not know that I know. That was the moment. Not the note. Not the LinkedIn profile. Not the unnamed number. This moment. Because she realized, sitting beside him in the ordinary Saturday dark, that she had been suspicious for weeks and had kept explaining it away. Not because the evidence wasn't there. Because she had chosen not to see it. She had been choosing, every morning, not to pick up the thread that would unravel everything. She had known. On some level, some quiet, competent, observant level, she had known almost from the beginning. The next morning, she woke up at 6:14. She lay still for a moment. Then she got up and went to the kitchen and made coffee. She put his mug on the counter. She turned the handle left. She stood there for a moment, looking at it. Then she picked it up, turned it right, set it back down. She doesn't know why she did that. It wasn't a decision. It wasn't a statement. It wasn't an ending or a beginning. It was just a thing she did differently that morning. And in that small, private rotation of a ceramic handle, something shifted. She had been good at her life for 33 years. She was going to have to figure out what that looked like now. He never lied to her. Not once, not technically. He never constructed a false alibi. Never gave her a story that didn't hold. He answered her questions, such as they were, with answers that weren't untrue. He simply never told her the truth. And for a long time, she helped him with that. Not out of weakness, not out of stupidity, out of the particular human instinct to protect something, to keep the shape of a life intact even when you suspect the interior is different from what you believed. She's not angry at herself for that. She was trying to survive something, without knowing exactly what she was surviving yet. What she knows now is this: the opposite of honesty isn't lying. The opposite of honesty is choosing what to leave out. And you can do it to someone else, but you can also do it to yourself. She's not doing it anymore.